All right, so I was trying to get a view of the moon. The moon is on the western horizon, and it's just this glowing orange orb in kind of a blue, foggy morning sky. The sun's not up all the way yet, and it looks weird. It looks really weird. I don't know if you can see any of that. I hope you could. Now I gotta readjust my camera here. I got everything all fouled up. There we go. So I'm on day 3 of this job, and the only reason it's taken me 3 days is because I'm not in any big hurry to get it done. I had to go clear up to northern Kansas to get the thing, so that was day 1, just getting up there. Day 2 is yesterday. I picked it up and came home, and then this morning I got up 5 o'clock, got ready to go, and I'm hauling it on down to Salado, Texas. So I sat down with the computer last night and figured out a good route to get around Dallas, because I really don't want to run right through Dallas at morning rush hour, and that's when I'm going to get there to Dallas if I go there. So instead of messing with that shit and trying to muck my way through on I-35 up above Fort Worth, and to get through Fort Worth, I'm going to go down through Weatherford and Cleburne. And it doesn't add much mileage. It's actually, it might be a little bit shorter. It's not going to be as fast, but I really don't want to sit in traffic on I-35 for an hour this morning. Not my cup of tea. So that's what I'm doing. I've been on the road for, I don't know, let's see, about 45 minutes, I guess. 40 minutes. And the big bugs are hitting the windshield this morning. It's weird out here this morning. This is like almost a summer morning. It's warm. It's like 65 degrees out. And it's really humid and foggy. So it's like, I don't know, kind of moist and warm. Kind of icky. Kind of icky out this morning. That's going to be a bad bug if I don't get it off of there. Bugs. So the bugs are out in full force. It's a little bit kind of misty, rainy, kind of wet. Of course, quite foggy. I've come through some pretty heavy fog. Because I got a guy behind me with his bright lights on. That's always fun. You know, blinding me in my side mirrors. I don't know why people do that. It's like, come on. But they do. They forget they got them on, I guess, or just don't give a shit. One of the two. But this is how my mornings start now. How's yours going? I am almost to Weatherford, Texas. I've been up moving since before sun up, obviously. Well, I don't know if that's obvious or not. It's still pretty early. It's not 8 o'clock. Not quite 8 o'clock. And I'm about, I don't know, less than 3 hours from getting this trailer delivered. And I've been thinking about some of the stuff my brother was talking about in his latest video. His channel is Backroads of Colorado. And he actually talks about stuff besides just driving. I mean, I mostly talk about driving and trucking and, you know, whatever comes to mind. But I try and kind of stay away from the political stuff. But I think I'm going to have to chime in on some of this, because he brought up some really good points about these guys that are pretending to be women, and how, you know, woke people are kind of promoting this and saying that you have to go along with it when it's, you know, clearly bogus. It's bullshit. I'm sorry to say. No, I'm not sorry to say. I'm glad to say, because it's true. It's bullshit. But he had some really good points. You know, men are men and women are women, and one cannot become the other no matter what they do. They're never going to be the other sex, because you are what you are, right? You know, it's all about biology. And all this stuff about this Dylan Mulvaney and Bud Light and all of that stuff, you know, to me that part was kind of funny, because I think Bud Light sucks anyway. I wouldn't drink this stuff. But it's kind of funny that they would have such a stupid person in charge of their advertising to even go there. And now they can't seem to like apologize and take it back and make amends. They've insulted all the women who used to drink that shit, and a lot of the men too. Well, I guess everybody. They've insulted everybody, and now their Bud Light sales are in the tank, you know. But they'll do everything except freaking apologize and make amends. It's just so stupid. I'm like, what's wrong with these people? Well, so that's kind of the point of what I'm thinking. I'm kind of extrapolating from what my brother was talking about, and he's absolutely right. He's dead on. That the guys doing this have mental issues. They wouldn't be doing it otherwise, and unless they're just doing it. Like, I think this Mulvaney guy, I think he might just be doing it mostly for fame. I think he just wants to be famous. He couldn't become famous as a guy, so he decided to pretend he's a girl and see if he could become famous that way. And it worked, but I mean, he's almost more notorious than famous, so I don't know how well that's actually working for him. But, you know, and he is kind of an effeminate little guy. I mean, he's doing a better job of pretending to be a girl than, say, Leah Thomas, who's just a big strapping guy with all his junk hanging out of his girl swimsuit. So he's doing a better job of pretending. I mean, aesthetically, he's cuter, I guess, but he's still a guy. I mean, he may be a squirrely little effeminate guy in a dress trying to look like Audrey Hepburn, but he's still a guy in a dress. So it's just kind of funny to me. It's funny and it's not funny. I'll tell you what's not funny about all this, which is my point, because my brother didn't address this. He didn't have the same perspective as I do, because he's a guy, you know, and I'm a girl, and we see things from our own perspectives. But the thing I don't like about all that is the guys like Leah Thomas, and I don't know what his real name is, or I would use it, but the guy that calls himself Leah Thomas, the big strapping, 6'3", 200-pound male swimmer who puts on a girl swimsuit, doesn't bother to tuck his junk, and then he goes parading around the women's locker rooms, and I guess he exposes himself to all these girls in the locker rooms too, and he thinks it's fine that he can do that. And evidently the people in charge of women's swimming competitions think it's fine too, which they should be in jail for allowing him to traumatize these girls like that, because that's what he's doing. And it's a sexual perversion, what he's doing, actually. There's a name for that stuff. I think it's called autogynephilia. And, you know, if they called me and complained, I'd arrest him for indecent exposure and put his ass in jail where he belongs. But, you know, that's just me. What bothers me about all this stuff, you know, people trying to be politically correct and woke and all that, is the damage that it's doing to the girls who have worked all their lives to earn a place on those swim teams and other sports teams. It's these guys who are taking women's places on women's teams. These are women's teams, and they're men. They are biological men. Why anybody for 1 minute would have allowed this is beyond me. I mean, they should be clapped in jail, I think, because they're basically abusing these women by making them have to deal with these guys. I mean, that's horrible. And these are young girls. This is not like 60-year-old women like me who've seen it all, and they'd be like, honey, you ain't no girl. You're a guy. Get away. Go away. Shoo. Scram. These girls don't have those options, and they don't have the life experience to just kind of, you know, laugh it off and push it aside. I do. I mean, I would not be afraid to tell him, tuck your junk, man, or get the hell out of the girls' room. You know, put your pants back on, get out of here. But they don't feel like they can say that, and they're not being backed up by their coaches, by their sports not their teams, but well, their teams too, but the whole sports situation around them, they're allowing these guys to do this to these girls, and that's wrong. That's terrible. It's awful what they're doing to these girls. So that's the trouble I have with it. I don't give a shit if some guy wants to put on a dress or a lady swimsuit and go parade around in it, as long as they're not doing it in front of me. If they do it in front of me and it's offensive, you know, if they're exposing themselves or, you know, got their junk hanging out, I'm going to say something. No, put on your pants, put on a robe, something. But if it's just some guy, like I've seen before in the supermarket or whatever, you know, dressed like a girl, and I can tell that it's a guy, I'm not going to say anything, or I don't care. It's not my business. But when they start pushing it in your face and hurting women, actual women, taking prizes away from women, taking money away from women, taking the prestige of the sports event, of the you know, their performance at a sporting event, taking it away because they have an unfair advantage because they're fucking men. That's where I have a problem with it. So, you know, I'm not a hater. I don't hate trans people. I've seen a lot of them and I don't care. I mean, it's not, and I have dealt with a few as a cop. I dealt with a few. I didn't treat them any differently than I treated anybody else, and I never said, hey dude, your wig is crooked and you look like a guy in a dress. I never said that to anybody. I treated them with respect, you know. Yeah. There's a difference between being respectful to another person, even if they're freaky. I'm just going to say it that way. You can go ahead and criticize me if you like, or agree with me if you like. But I'm not going to make a deal of it, you know. If somebody's got those problems, they know they got those problems. They're not fooling themselves. They would like to fool themselves. That's why they want everybody else to go along with it, so they can kind of play into this fantasy and believe it. It's not believable. It's not real. It's just what it is. So I don't really hold any animosity towards the guys who are just walking around in drag every day, because I've dealt with them. I know a few of them, and you know, they're not bad people. They're confused and they got some problems, but you know, for the most part, the guys I used to deal with were not like, you know, militant, wackadoodle that way. They're wackadoodle on the cross-dressing part, but they weren't like militantly, dangerously wackadoodle. But I'm taking this route through Weatherford and through Cleburne to get around the Dallas-Fort Worth area without all the big city traffic. And so far it's been going splendidly. Well, till this little car pulled out in front of me. Come on, old lady. Little old lady. I can see her in the mirror there. You gotta watch out for people, because they're not really watching, you know, all the time. I would not want to hit her. So if you'll see up in front of us, the Weatherford, I don't know if it's Weatherford County, but that looks like a county courthouse to me in the courthouse square. I love this configuration. Woohoo, 309 for diesel. I'm definitely coming back through here and filling things up. Man, oh man. Well, I got a little over half a tank now, so I've got enough to get this trailer delivered and get back up here. So that's pretty awesome. So anyway, it's 8:10 in the morning. Did I say the date? It's May 5th, Friday, May 5th, 2023. I'm on North Main Street right now, but I think it's Farm to Market Road 51, I think, is what the actual highway number is. That's the turnoff I took from Decatur, anyway, to get down here, so. I don't know where I'm at. I'm just in downtown Weatherford, Texas, and this is really cool down here. They've got it fixed up pretty cute. A lot of antique shops, award-winning beer, Firefly Grilling Company. Cool. So they've got kind of a healthy-looking little downtown. Antiques, food, home decor, antiques. This must be Antique Row in Weatherford. Antiques and market finds. Casa Decor. Cool. Awesome. Painted Pony Tea Room, Twisted Snifter, Boutique Bottle Store. Cool. All right, so that's where we're at. Just waiting for my turn to get in and get around the courthouse here and get on down the road. So I thought I'd do something a little different today. Instead of going through Dallas, I just didn't really want to freaking go through Dallas. Was not something I wanted to deal with. Sitting on the interstate in heavy city rush hour traffic, and I knew I'd be going through there at rush hour. So we'll get on through here. And get on down to Cleburne, which is our next way marker on the route. All right, so that was cool. That wasn't too bad pulling a trailer through there. It was wide enough that I didn't have too much trouble. Flying tire bicycles, flooring. So their downtown looks pretty healthy. They've got quite a bit of business going on down there. And it looks like their construction is all done. The last time I came through here that I remember very much, they had all of this torn up. All this road was torn up with construction all the way through town, and it was really slow going. It's not real fast right now because of the town square, but it's a lot better than it was then. So that's pretty cool. Okay, now my GPS just settled itself down. It was wanting me to go to downtown Weatherford because I set it to go to Weatherford and then to Cleburne. So if I don't go clear downtown, they are right to the center where they think I should be going. It has to ask me if I want to skip it, and then it'll reset for the next destination. Excuse me. Oh, 20 miles an hour. Slow her down. Sorry about that, drinking coffee. I'm pretty happy because I'm only 150 miles away from getting this thing delivered. And I haven't had to sit on an interstate yet. I'm gonna get on the interstate over by Hillsboro and run on the interstate down to Temple, I think. I think I have to do that pretty much. Which is not a long stretch. It's, Temple or Hillsboro, Waco, and Temple. And then Salado's right there, and then I can come back any which old way, it doesn't matter. But I do want to get down there and get this delivered as soon as I can so I can head home, because I really want to get home. I got stuff to do on the eBay business. So Bill's been pulling out old refrigeration parts that he wants to list, so we're going to work on that when I get home, hopefully. Get some of those listed. And then there's some stuff I want to do this weekend. There's a junk shop I'd like to go to over in Paul's Valley if it's going to be open. We went there once and bought an old chair from them, and the place was just totally packed with stuff. Look at that diesel 312. I saw it for $309 back there a ways. I'm going to be filling up here on the way home. So anyway, we were in this junk shop, and it was just huge. It was a massive old place, and it was just full of stuff. Well, I wasn't looking at it at that point in time as from a finding stuff to resell about kind of a perspective. But now that that's what I got in mind, that'd be a good place to go look and do some picking. So I plan to try and do that tomorrow if he fills up to it and if they're open. If not, there's a couple of places I want to go metal detect this weekend, so we could do that maybe I'd like to do that Sunday actually, so we don't get hassled by people out thinking they need to comment on it or ask questions, because people do that sometimes. People like getting in stuff that's none of their business for some odd reason. Kind of human nature, I think. And then I've got a bunch of stuff I want to get listed. 307 diesel, Murphy's USA. Note to self, stop there on the way home and fill this puppy up. Every drop you can get in it. So the last diesel I bought was up in Shawnee, and I've got 5/8 of a tank of that left. I paid $3.24 for that. 307 is awesome. That's the cheapest I've seen fuel since Biden took over. It was cheaper before he got in, but it's finally getting down low enough now to where it's starting to be back to kind of normal. And I'm not sure why. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not going to question it for now. I'll just enjoy it, because it bumps my bottom line up a little bit, of course, when I'm not paying, 40, 50, 60, 80, $1.50 more or whatever. This car in front of me's got a cool little sticker that says, "Don't follow me, I do stupid stuff." Oh shit, that's funny. I need one of those. Ah, that's pretty cute. I put one of those on my personal truck. Now these guys are charging $4.09 for diesel. That's crazy. They're charging $1.02 more than the place right down the road, and they probably wonder why nobody's in there buying diesel. It's like, what the hell? Greedy. That's just greedy, I'm sorry. But they're right on the interstate, so they don't think somebody's going to see that down there and go down the road and buy it for, I don't know. Kind of shit drives me crazy. Oh, little puppy. I'd be getting that puppy down out of the window. I guess it's probably on his lap. It's probably okay. I don't know. It drives me crazy seeing dogs hanging out completely open windows like that. 'Cause I've seen a dog fall out of the truck before, out of the back of the truck, a grown dog. And it's awful. That kind of shit happens. I'm just not into seeing critters fall out of vehicles, so I'm a worrywart. It's like Bill cracks the window for Molly to bark out the window at cows. She likes to bark at cows. We can blame my brother Wes for that, the one that does the Backroads of Colorado videos. See if I got enough brake to stop this thing, and voila, I do. I hate these sudden lights like that. Anyway, my brother kind of encouraged her to bark at cows when he was down here helping us work on the house. And so Bill, he likes to blame Wes for it, but he's the one who's actually taught her to do it more, and then he opens the window so she can stick her nose out and bark at him, which I hate that. I wish he wouldn't do it. But he does. I don't like it, just opening the window that much and letting her stick her whole head out. I'm like, don't let her do that. Oh, but she enjoys it. I'm like, oh my God, you enjoy it. It's like, seriously? But anyway, so when I see, a critter sticking out of a window like that, it worries me a little bit. I just worry about it. I'm just a worry girl, worrying girl. What can I tell you? I come by it honestly. My mom was a worrier too. Worry about this, worry about that. We used to call her a professional worrier because she worried about stuff so much. And that nut didn't fall too far from the tree, because I'm quite a bit like her in that way. It's funny, you start seeing the similarities between yourself and your parents, and what you got from different parents, what traits you got from your different parents. So I definitely got the worrying gene from my mom. I did not inherit her musical gene, I don't think. I got my dad's built-in compass gene and the kind of having weird dreams gene. I was talking about that yesterday. You'll have to go back and listen to that if you're curious about it. I'm not going to completely rehash it, but then I got some looks from my mom, some looks from my dad, but the older I get, the more I look like my mom. Except I didn't get her great coloring. She was beautiful. She had like black hair and blue eyes and really fair skin. She was just, she was prettier than Elizabeth Taylor. She was a similar kind of coloring, but she was prettier, I think. She wasn't fake in any way. And she was sweet and kind, and she was a really good person. She was a very gentle person. But so I kind of look like her, but I kind of don't, because I got my dad's coloring. So I've got freckles, and I used to have reddish brown hair. Now it's just grayish brown. And I've got hazel eyes. So I'm not pretty like she was, but that's okay. I mean, I'm not hideously ugly either, I guess. I'm all wrinkly now, so it's kind of hard to tell, but back in the day, I wasn't hideously ugly. Put it that way. Oh my gosh, yeah. If you're young and you look really good, enjoy it while it lasts, because if you live long enough, you'll lose it. And it's sad when it's gone, and you'll miss it. So, enjoy what you've got while you've got it. Always be thankful for what you got. So these days I have to be thankful for other things I've got, like a brain that still works, or still having enough energy and gumption to get out and do this kind of work. And I don't have any looks left to be thankful for. As you well know, if you've been watching my videos, when I turn the camera around, it's kind of shocking sometimes. I mean, it may look normal to you because that's the only me you've ever seen. Unless you're like my brother, he knows. He's probably shocked every time he sees me too. He's probably like, oh, God. Time's not being kind to her. Well, time's not being kind to me because I worked outside most of my life in the sun, and that ruins your skin, just ruins it. I didn't understand. Nobody does. I mean, you don't understand until it's too late, and then you're like, well, damn, I wish I'd have done that. Like, I wish I had worn a hat and sunscreen, and if I could go back and start over, I would. I would stay out of the sun. Or I'd wear a freaking Pioneer bonnet, but what's done is done. I can't undo it. So, but man, be glad for what you've got when you've got it. Enjoy it. I always thought I was kind of goofy looking and not very pretty and all that, but I look back at pictures and I was like, man, I was pretty good looking. Too bad I didn't know it at the time. I looked all right, So, I don't know. It's funny. Your perspective changes. You got to look at everything with humor, too. If you take all this shit very seriously, life will kill you, Life is hard enough without beating yourself up over shit that you have no control over. So, I try not to beat myself up over it too bad. I mean, because, like I say, I can't change it. I can't erase the wrinkles, or rejuvenate my hair, or make myself cute anymore. I mean, there's no being cute for me anymore. It's done. Now I'm just another old lady, which is fine. I don't really mind too much being another old lady, but what I don't do is I don't look in the mirror very often, if I can help it. Just enough to comb my hair, brush my teeth, and pluck my eyebrows, and maybe do a little eyeliner or something. That's about it. I don't spend much time, studying the wrinkles. I can guarantee you that. It's just no fun, It's like I feel like I'm kind of a relic, a wreck, a ruin of what I once was, in a way. I kind of can relate to that stone house up in Stoneburg because I'm a ruin too. I mean, I just am. I'm what's left of a once pretty okay looking girl, I think. But, what do I know? So I try not to dwell on it. I mean, I don't like what I see, but to me the solution is just not to look very often. So when I do look, it's a shock. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, so anyway, welcome to old age, right? But the thing is, I don't feel old. I mean, that's why it's such a shock when I look in the mirror sometimes, because I feel like I've always felt. I mean, when you get older, you don't really feel any different inside. It's not like I'm a different person. Well, I guess I kind of am, but I'm older and hopefully a little wiser, but I'm not a different person than I was 40 years ago. Hopefully I'm a better person than I was 40 years ago. I don't know. That's what I should be worried about, I think, more than... What is doing this crazy rattling? Is it that? I guess it's that. My visor. But anyway, that's the thing about getting older. I make a lot of jokes about being an old lady and stuff, and I really kind of am joking because I'm not that old. I mean, I'm old enough, but I'm not that old. I'm not decrepit yet. I'm still in pretty good shape. I can still pretty much do everything I want or need to do, and it doesn't keep me at home, or housebound or anything, so I don't know, I'm not sure how you're supposed to feel when you get old. I asked Dad when he was in his 80s, not too long before he died. It was before he got sick, but I asked him, I said, so do you feel like you're old? Because he was talking about being old. So, well, how do you feel? He says, well, I feel like I'm young, trapped in an old body is what I feel like. I'm like, oh God, that sounds terrible. He says, well, it's not that much fun. I'm like, damn. But I get his point, I understand it more all the time, because there are certain things that I don't do the way I used to. And I'm sure that that's going to continue to happen. I'm going to have to keep adapting how I do things, as we all do when we get older. Things change, your body changes. Kind of sucks. It's weird, if you think about human beings and how we start out as little babies, helpless, relying on others to take care of us for a long time. I mean, we're one of the few species that gets to have a childhood for years, for years and years, decades. We have almost two decades of childhood these days, which is a little bizarre if you think about it. But we're one of the few species who has that luxury. And I don't know. So we start out helpless and dependent, and then we get to be, grown and strong and capable and all that. And then we're good for about, another 60-something years after that, usually. 50 or 60 more years after we hit, kind of early maturity or whatever. And then we get old and we start to decline, and then we end up back dependent on people, in our final stage, I guess. If you get to live a natural lifespan, or maybe it's an unnatural lifespan, but it's kind of weird because you start out and you end up in kind of a similar place. But just, I guess it's like the what is it, Benjamin Button, that movie where the guy ages backwards or something. He starts out as a little bent over old man. it's just in reverse. It's the same thing, just in reverse. But this is something weird because I heard, and I'm not sure how true this is, but somebody said that the actual biological lifespan for a human being, and I thought it would be like a tortoise or something, 120 years. No, it's 38 years. That's the lifespan, evidently, for a human being that's built into our DNA. Now, I don't know if I believe that because people have been living a lot longer than that, forever. There's kind of a myth about people not getting old back in the olden times. Well, that's bullshit. There have always been people who got old. They're luckier, than other people probably. Maybe they, were a little tougher or smarter or luckier or whatever. But there have always been venerable old people in society. We've always had old people. We just haven't had as many old people maybe as we have now, but then again, maybe we did. Some people like to say that, oh, well, people didn't live to be that old. And people weren't that tall. I hear that a lot. Back then, people weren't very tall. Well, that's horse shit. There were a lot of people that were tall. I mean, there were people that were considered giants, for God's sakes. If that ain't tall, I don't know what is. So, we have kind of a funny and kind of naive concept of how people were before us. Like all of a sudden we're here and we're taller and bigger and smarter and better and faster and we live longer and blah, 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 blah. Well, I think a lot of that's just bullshit. I think it's, self-aggrandizing propaganda that we tell ourselves, or that, we've been taught by people who, I don't know, have been taught that too. I don't know. But I don't think it's true. I think there have always been people who have been tall and strong and superior, and it's the luck of the genetic draw, right? You get good genes and you get good nutrition, and you get a good deal, you get a good shot at it. There's no reason you can't live to be pretty old. But anyway, this one guy was arguing that the genetic encoded lifespan for a human being is 38 years. I'm thinking, huh. That's kind of what I was thinking, huh. I don't know about that. I don't know that I believe that. I think that sounds kind of like bullshit to me. Excuse me, horse shit. But I don't know. It's kind of weird. I was expecting it to be like 108 years or 120 years, or because normally when they look at the lifespan for a species, I mean, don't they kind of look at the oldest known and then kind of have a median range and then average all that out for like an average lifespan? I mean, that's the way I would do it. So I don't know where they're getting the 38 years. But I was surprised by that. I was actually shocked by that. I just don't think I'd buy it. It's a rough one. So I don't know. I think that's kind of weird. Kind of bizarro. Things I think about while I'm out driving around in circles. Yeah. So this is Cresson, Texas. Cresson. I think this is going to be my new path for getting around Dallas-Fort Worth. I think I'm going to quit using the interstate to get through there when I don't have to actually go into town. There's no reason for me to go into Fort Worth or Dallas unless I'm picking up or delivering in Fort Worth or Dallas, and then I'm just going to have to suck it up and do it. But if I don't have to go there, I'm not going to. This is a much better way to go. I think it adds a few miles, but I think it takes off some time because I'm already almost at Cleburne, and it would have been, I would have gotten into Dallas about 8, and I'd still be sitting in traffic up on the interstate right now, waiting to get on I-35 off of 287. So that's a real big choke point. So I'd probably still be sitting up on that end of town waiting to get on 35, just to get onto the express lanes. So yeah, this is awesome. I'm enjoying this. This is good. This is good. Das ist gut. Is that German or is that just silly? That might be some silly movie thing. Das is probably this. I was told once, my ex-brother-in-law, Bash, he told me once that he took German in school. He was raised in England. He's British. He said once that he took German, I guess all through school, and he said, you just pronounce everything exactly like it looks for German. You pronounce everything. So that was funny. So I'm like, phonetically, how do you figure this out? He says, you just pronounce it all. So that's the Fort Worth to Granbury Highway there, evidently. Be glad when this light changes. Hopefully it'll stay green long enough for us to all get through. There's a pretty good line of cars here. We got somebody back here thinking they got to cut around the right side of us all. I don't know how that's going to work for them. Oh, let's see what they're doing. Okay. Evidently they're cutting around into town. They probably know where they're going. 130 miles left to go. It's a little over 2 hours, so I'll be there probably about 10:30ish, 11. So I'm making better time than I thought I would. I'm making better time than if I had gone through Dallas. Because if I went through Dallas, I wasn't expecting to get there till noon. So this is pretty awesome. This may have cut off some mileage. I think it did because it doesn't go as far east as Fort Worth. So I think it cut off some of the excess mileage. Now, if this light will stay green long enough, maybe we'll get through here. If these people get with it, go. Come on, folks. Let's move. Scoot, scoot. Okay, so diesel's high here, 369. Can't believe it's 309 back in Weatherford. Man, I'm just squeaking through this light. Thank you, God. I didn't want to sit through it twice. Johnson County lines. We're already quite a ways south. Wow. I'm pretty impressed. I don't know why I've been running this way the whole time. Well, yeah, I do know why, because I was under the impression it was probably all still torn up. Because this whole stretch from Weatherford on down toward here was torn up for years. Of course, this is back 10 years ago too, so it makes sense that they're done with it. But I just kind of avoided this route because of that. But man, now it's awesome. Pretty great. Pretty great. This is pretty awesome. So there's a Bloomer's trailer right there. The place I'm delivering to is right next to the Bloomer's factory. I mean, right next door to it. I've never hauled a bloomer. I went to try and haul one once, and it had been customized, so it was way too heavy for the truck. I was like, get it off my truck. I can't haul this thing. Are you people crazy? But those are the trailers, you know, they highlight in Yellowstone, the TV show. If you notice, everybody in that show drives a Dodge Ram pickup, and they all pull bloomer horse trailers. So good advertising for bloomers. I'd like to actually see one, you know, up close and personal. I didn't even see inside the one I was going to pull. I didn't get that far with it because when I realized they'd been customized and it was too heavy, there was no need to continue. I just unhitched, told them we'd send a different truck and left, you know. It's one of those deals. Had a couple of those deals. Now I know better. I won't go back to a customizer. But I'm curious about what they're like before they're customized, because I mean, they're supposed to be pretty damn nice trailers to start with. But some of these horse people have a lot of money to throw around, and they want things a certain way. You know, they want it specifically to their liking, which I get that. There's nothing wrong with that. But they're willing to pay extra buku bucks to have these customizers go in and install all custom hardwood cabinets and, I mean, fancy heavy stuff, heavy furniture. So they add a lot of weight to those things, but they also make them very pretty. Yeah, I have looked in a few of the customs that I've hauled out of Oklahoma City. When I'm picking them up, I inspect stuff, make sure the windows are shut, and they fancy them up pretty nice. I mean, they're quite pretty. So I can see where if you had money to burn, you know, and you're a horse person and you're going to be spending time in it, I can see where you'd want it a certain way. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to get off the exit and I'm going to go under the overpass, and I'm going to go over to a street and cut back into the right. That's all I know right now. I don't know what all it is, but it is giving me that. I can see that on the map. So I'm going to try it and see what happens. I won't probably get jammed up with this trailer. It's short enough that if I get in a jam, I can get out of a jam pretty easy with it. I mean, I can back it up. It's not like I can't back this up. It's not like I'm pulling doubles. Okay, this guy is going excruciatingly slow. And I've got another 1 8/10 miles before I got to get off here. So I'm going to get around these two and then get back over. Trying to stage up for the exit, but you know, people are going damn slow. Well, he's going slow because he's got too much trailer for that little truck. He needs a bigger truck if he's going to pull a trailer that big. Seriously. It's kind of crazy. But people do that. They buy a trailer and they get sold a bill of goods by the people who tell, oh yeah, you can pull it with that truck. Well, yeah, you can, but it's not smart to do it. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. What is it my brother likes to say? It's everything's permissible, but not everything is advisable. That's one of those things. You can pull a big trailer with a little truck, but it's not a smart thing to try and do. Okay, let's see. 0.6 of a mile. This is what I want. 83. This is the first time I've ever delivered here, so this is entirely new territory to me. I've never been off this exit. But we're going to take it. We're going to take it and run with it. So it looks like it's doable. Okay, so it's actually an overpass, not an underpass. So we're going to cross the overpass here. And where's my target? There it is. I see it. I see it. I see it. Okay, if I can see it, I can figure out a way to get to it. But fortunately, my GPS or my phone is helping me out here. Okay, so go up here and turn right and then go in the back way. All right, we'll see if there is a back way. If there's not a back way, I'll have to figure something else out because I can't go right and go up that road. That's one way. That's the thing I don't like about their service roads. It makes things, you know, iffy. Is this open? I don't know if this is open or not. Well, I guess it is. Yeah. Okay, cool. So this is actually their driveway. Good. They're right next door to the bloomer factory, so I'm seeing all these bloomers out here. No big surprise there. Okay. Now, can I get in here? Or can I pop out and come back up? I may have to pop out and come back up. I don't know if I can. I just don't know if I can get back out on the service road from here or not. How do these people all get in here? If they can't, there must be a road all the way around here or something like it. Maybe not. I may be shit out of luck. I may have to go back up to the next exit or go around. Well, we'll see. We'll go up here and look. Kind of looks like I'm screwed, actually. Yep, I am screwed to this. I cannot get there from here. So, turn her around. All is not lost because there's plenty of room out here to turn around. I just got to figure out how to get over on the correct service road because I can't go out and turn south on it. It's illegal. It's a one-way northbound road, so I've got to go around somehow and get back to this bitch. It looks like at some point they had a gate in the back here, but they've got it blocked. So that's not helpful. See, right in here, they've got a road going up to it, but it looks like they've blocked it. They've sealed it off. So that's unfortunate. Yeah, there's their gate. So, I just got to figure out how to get around there from here, which... Okay, let's look at it. How far do I have to go to get around? Quit screwing with me, you damn thing. Okay, there's 35. There is no road that goes all the way. So I guess I'm going to have to go back on 35 up to the next exit and then come back. That's what it's looking like. That's unfortunate. There's Armstrong. Does that go? That doesn't go there. What's that? Is that a road? That's a road. Where's that road come from? Where does it dump out? Seriously? How far do I have to go to get around this bitch? That's not going to work. That's that road. That's not going to work. I can do it, but I've got to go way in the hell around to do it. I got to go over to 95. So I'm better off just to get back on the interstate. All right, well, we figured it out. So this is a no-go. This way is a no-go. So now I know. This happens a lot the first time I go to places because instead of taking the time to look at it last night, like an aerial view, I was just like, oh, okay, it's right there. Well, that's cool. That'll work. It's right on the interstate. It should be easy to get to, right? Well, yes and no. It is if you're pointed the right direction. So I didn't do my full homework like I should have done. And So I'm going to have to get back on the interstate, go down to the next exit, however far that is, and come back. But that's preferable, actually, right now than going clear around out across country to God only knows freaking where, just to get turned around. I mean, this is really awkward, and this is what I don't like about Texas and their service roads. So, you know, now you know. Not like you probably didn't know before, but I can take this service road down to the next bridge over, basically, is what I'm going to have to do. I don't really have to get back on the interstate, so I won't. But I can see it right there, I just can't get to it. You know, I've got to cross and then come back headed northbound, and then I can get over. It's not that big of a deal, it's just, you know, I'm just not sure how far I've got to go up here to do it. So it looks like 1.1 miles maybe. So that's not too bad. That's better than the alternative, because the roads that went around over to the east, I would have had to gone several miles around that. That would have been not so great. Not so great. So yeah, I guess. Oh no. About another half mile down past this. That's good though, so I don't have to get back on the interstate to do this. All right. And I actually kind of thought about coming down to the next exit because I thought it might be that way, but then I thought I'd look. And then it looked like I could get in the back way, which at one time I could have, but that's not a viable entrance now, so that's all right. This is how you learn. This is how you figure out. I'll never forget this now. I'll always know that I have to go to the next exit when I come down here the next time, if I do. Sometimes I only deliver one time to a place. It just depends on how many trailers they order and who else is working. So, I mean, you know. But this company I've delivered to a lot of their other locations. So this, I think, is probably a newer location for them. Probably not totally new, but it's been there long enough to have had a back gate and closed it off. So they've been here a while, apparently. All right. So this is okay. It's all good. We got this under control. It's all good. Okay, so I'm going to pull over down here and do my ticket real quick. I didn't get the information to put on the ticket until a few minutes ago. I like to have that stuff done when I pull into the yard, so I'm not sitting out there blocking their driveway and being a nuisance to them. So, okay, date. Okay, this is a gooseneck, horse, number 15231, and let's see my rate, 1190 and 155. Sure my math is right. Yes, that's what she's got too. So that's rate and fuel surcharge. And we'll do this one. send her? I'll send it to her when I send her that. Okay, so now all my paperwork is good. Yay. Right, get in here and get this thing done. This guy was gonna run me over, I swear. Like, why'd you get out my way? I was running 110. I was like, I know you were. I could see. I could tell. So, not here yet. I don't overshoot it because I'm going to have to go around this loop again. So, I really don't want to do that. So, evidently, this big building on the right up here is where they make these Bloomers trailers. The one you see on Yellowstone. Big fancy horse trailers. Rich people's horse trailers is what those are. You can kind of see one sitting over there, I hope. They're giant. They're massive. Huge. I really can't pull them. They're too big for me to pull with what I've got to work with. So here is my target site. This is more like it. I can get in here. And I will pull in here and find out where they want it left. Get over here out of the way. Oh, they got all kinds of trailers from Indiana. They got SMCs and Laredos and Lakotas. Those are all. Okay, I will be back anyway. Take my stuff and go here. Alright, so I'll be back. Oh, the sleeves. Don't scare anybody. Kind of forget about that. I forget about how bad things look. Okay, got my fancy sleeves now. I feel more confident. Okay. One, two, three, 4, 5.5 hours. So I've got to stop in 2.5 hours and take a 30-minute break, or sometime between now and then. I've got to do that, so righty then. Good. All I gotta do is pull out from under it. I hung everything up. Sorry about that, my microphone was not on me. I ease out from under. I always come out from under these trailers very carefully, just because in the event that I miscalculated cranking it up, I don't want to tear up the back of my truck or tear up the hitch on the trailer if I need to crank it up a little higher. So I'll show you what I just hauled up here. It's this beautiful Cimarron. It's actually a 4-horse. I was thinking it was a 3-horse slant, but it's a 4-horse slant with a tack room. So this is the beautiful little trailer I just hauled up. That one right there. Isn't that nice? Just a nice, easy, simple little trailer. No giant living quarters or any of that extraneous crap. So, I mean, if you're a horse person and you're not a glamping person, that's all you need. I mean, if you got money to burn and you want to buy yourself a crazy bloomer with custom interiors, by all means do so. I'm all for that too, if that's what you want. Now he was saying there's a good coffee place up here just at the next exit. So I'm going to stay on the service road. And I'm going to say settings. Navigation, avoidances, highways. There we go. All right. Yay. We are done. We are done. We are done.